of the heartland of the white rose and the red. Some mills where the game was born and bred. Washington to Doncaster, from Witness to Eastlow, 13 aside, packages to twine, cooks are pretty low, but in all the union, it goes away. So they say, in 1895, a revolution came to pass. And those that were empowered fought to hold the northern bluff. But 22 crossed the line and said enough's enough. It was a northern union that broke away. And though they said it wouldn't last, we're still here today, following the great escape. It's understood, and we're proud to be part of it.
Hey, up now in the shop. What are you doing that thing?
I'm kicking a bit of football. I've just got off shift at the pit. Yourself?
Football? Nah. No, mate. You play a bit of rugby though. They said you like shovel over Wigan Way.
Hey, there's no need for bad language.
Oh, sorry. They said you like shit over shovel over that way. Any road, big sharp hit team, you come play with us.
Happen I will. And so I did. And I ended up signing for Lee Spinners. And I got picked to play for Lee Town team against the Rochdale Hornets. And we beat them 52-0. A director from Hornets was watching.
Now then, young Norman, young lad. Well played. You fair made bumped out of our lads up there yesterday. How would you like a trial for Rochdale Hornets?
Better than a trial at Crown Court, I suppose. And so there I was, playing in my first trial game. And the bloke that took me on was called Ginger Johnson. He was an old ex-player. He come into the dressing room at half time and said,
"Wait a minute, Norman, what's going on?"
Oh, what do you mean, Ginger?
Hornets only want to flaming sign you halfway through your first ever trial match. That's what I mean. God, what?
I was just flabbergasted. The next day, a director came to our house.
Now then, young Norman, young lad. You played right smashing in trial game yesterday.
Thanks, I enjoyed it.
Good lad. I brought all forms for you to sign. Here. Here. And then. There's a little present for you. Token of our esteem, you might like to say, son. £200 there, a signing on fee.
£200? He put £200 on the table right in front of me. All my brothers and the mother, their eyes just popped out their heads. Hey, in 1950, that was real money.
Norman Shaw played for 12 years at Hornets, and he's still remembered as one of the best players they've ever had.
Dad, what are you doing, Dad?
I'm recording scores from yesterday's games, Venice. That's what I'm doing.
Why?
Because nobody else does it.
Well, don't that tell you something?
Yes, it does.
What?
Only doing something because somebody else does it is for choice. Hornets are one of 22 founder members at Northern Union back in 1895, who were part of it here in Rochdale.
Same as co-op.
Ah, same as co-op,
And stinking mucky canals.
I suppose.
And even mucky kids.
I suppose.
And wet rainy nights.
Not everything's...
And big fat blokes sitting and drink knocking 7 bells out of each other on a Saturday night.
Not everything's to be celebrated in the same way, Glenys. I follow Hornets, and I like to keep a record of comings and goings, scores, etc.
Dad, when you're away, in the what did you miss most?
Peace and quiet. To listen to my gramophone and do my scorekeeping.
My dad, Colin Atkins. As soon as he was demobbed after the war, he resumed his support for the Rochdale Hornets. There were a few books that kept the scores at the time, so he started his own by writing the results in his diary. Every Saturday he'd buy two papers, the pink final and the green final, with all the rugby league scores in them. And then throughout the week, after his tea, he'd spread all the papers out on the underfelt and take out his scrapbooks and scissors and paste and pens and just spend a couple of hours compiling statistics from what the papers had to offer. He had to listen to his gramophone as he worked, obviously just enjoying himself. And he installed shelves from floor to ceiling in the spare room for all of his ledgers, which were meticulously filed according to date and genre. And he did his own write-ups as well, like how...
On a frost-bound, fog-shrouded day in January 1954, Bobby Carter had been delighting the crowds with his dazzling play.
Because it was cold, Australia wouldn't let him run in the Olympics.
I thought it was great, Dad. And I still think it is. On a frost-bound, fog-shrouded day, he lived for a fix of a try-and at sticks, or a moment of magic for a zoo lad at 6.
Rugby League, the greatest game.
Rochdale Hornets and Oldham, the Roughyeds.
As Oldham as cotton, as hot pot and rain.
Two of its oldest, proudest names.
Malcolm Price. I signed for Hornets in 1965 and Oldham in 1962. Prior to that, I played rugby union, and my memories go back to 1955 when I captained the under-18s for Wales. From 58 to 62, I played for Wales, the RAF, the Barbarians, and many other representative sides. And in 1959, I was selected for the British Lions tour of New Zealand and Australia for 4 months. I was 21 years of age.
Hi, I'm Tommy Pratt. I signed for Rochdale Hornets in August 1964. I played as Hornets for 7 years. Then I went on to Swinton for 3 years. And then I came back to Rochdale Hornets for another 3 years. I was working up on Winstone, nuclear power plant in between. And I went on loan to Whitehaven for 4 months.
Hello, my name's Evan Ratton, and I'm actually the second generation of the Ratton family to play for Rochdale Hornets. My dad, Mike, he played in the 1960s, I played in the 1990s, and my nephew, another Michael, he's in the current Rochdale Hornets squad. For the past 50 years, there's always been a strong connection between Rochdale Hornets and Fiji, and I remember my dad saying to me when I was a little lad, he said, "Son, rugby, it's in the blood."
Tony Hawley, Rochdale, born and bred. I went up to Rochdale Hornets as a 19-year-old. I signed just before my 20th birthday in 1970, and I stayed there till 1979.
Well, matey, I was always a keen rugby player since my school days. And one day, while playing for a youth club in Rochdale, I was approached by a scout from Rochdale Hornets who invited me up for trials. I played there from 1968 as an 18-year-old until 1973.
New Zealand were the All Blacks. I was fortunate enough to play against them on many occasions. The one that stands out for me is in Dunedin in New Zealand in 1959, the first test. We lost 18-17. We scored 4 tries and I managed to score a couple. But of all that went on, the biggest memory I've got, with the 50,000 crowd that were there, was the last 15 minutes. When that crowd who'd been cheering all the way for the All Blacks were now cheering for the Lions who played the football. I'll never forget it. It'll live with me forever.
Moving on from 1979, I got headhunted by Salford, and it was under the coach Alex Murphy, and I did 18 months there. Then Fulham Rugby League on its inaugural season signed me, and I stayed down there for 5 years, 3 years as captain. It was, how would you say, 15, 16 years, good years, great memories, and having a good crack with lots of the lads.
I remember my scariest moments in playing days was being ferried to and from training by Tony Gooley without his glasses on.
Go on, lad. Go on.
Warrington.
No, nearly though.
Wakefield.
Not quite.
Whitehaven.
Think harder.
Workington.
Yes, Workington.
18. Batley.
Batley? No, not Batley. Think
Keighley. 12.
Smashing. Workington 18, Keighley 12.
I must be the only person alive who can thank Rugby League for the fact that I can read and write. Every Saturday evening at Green Final, my father used to teach me how to read rugby scores. Every week, and then next week's fixtures. He worked at Lilac Mill in Shaw. Thought it sounded really beautiful. So actually, sorry. It was in the northern heartland of the White Rose and the Red, the Cumbrian hills, the pits and mills where the game was born and bred. From Workington to Doncaster, from Widnes to Eastall, 13 aside, like a vintage wine, cups are pretty full, was an Northern Union that broke away. Though they said it wouldn't last, this was here today. Following the great escape, it's understood, and we're proud to be part of it, rugby in the mud.
My name's David Taylor. I signed for Rochdale and Oldham in 1965 as a 16-year-old. I stayed and played at Rochdale and Oldham for 12 years.
My first trial match was at Warrington. I was playing on the right wing. And the game was going quite well. I'd had a couple of decent runs, a couple of decent tackles. About halfway through the first half, the right centre made a break and I went with him, waiting for the pass that didn't come. He'd run onto the elbow of an opposing forward and broke his jaw. And I remember thinking to myself that night, welcome to professional rugby league.
For me as a raw 16-year-old coming into a team that contained Mike Ratu, Malcolm Price, and Stan Owen, people who I'd watched as a 16-year-old at Watershed in Oldham, because I'm an Oldham lad, it was absolutely fantastic. Johnny Hume came along one day and said, hello, I'd like to have a word with your father. I want to sign with the lads for Rochdale. Because in those days you didn't do anything without your father's permission.
Now, Mick Crocker lived in Oldham.
Dad! Dad!
That's supposed to be Mick, by the way.
Dad! You'll never believe what?
Me? Don't believe you are, Mick. The chance of be a fine thing.
I've been asked to sign professional. I'm not. Cross me out and hope to die.
Well, if that's true, make me really happy. Son of mine running out at sheddings. Eh?
Ah. Well, sheddings?
Oh, Mick, it's not Rochdale Hornets, is it?
No.
It's of a sick, no.
No, it's not Hornets.
Not Wiggly.
No, it's not chuffing Wigan either. It's Man City.
Who?
Manchester City.
Round ball game?
Yeah. I'm good at football as well as rugby. Hey, I'll be running out at Main Road with Franny Lee and Mike Summerby. Coming to see you and our mum in a bright red sports car. One that comes with a glamorous girlfriend as standard. Who wears miniskirts and knee-high boots and blue eyeliner. And says things like,
Get out of this house!
She wouldn't say that. She'd say, can I get you a drop more pina colada, please, Mick, before I bob off to my next glamorous modelling assignment? No, Dad, please!
If I not words.
My first game was on the wing against Doncaster. My second game was against Warrington as a substitute. But my third game was on the wing against Wigan, where I marked a certain gentleman called Billy Boston, who ended up giving me a right crack on my collarbone.
Now, Mick's dad wouldn't speak to him for 3 weeks. He wanted him to play rugby, so he went back to the oval-shaped ball. He'd always been a fan since he was a young lad. So anyway, Mick said to his dad, "Can we have a word about it, Dad?" And the next news was...
Mick! Oh, Mick, who's this? Oh, you're bloody talking to me, are you now?
Who's this outside the street?
It's Arthur Walker,
Fred Kershaw,
chairman.
and secretary,
He's
Rochdale
a
and Oldham.
massive jaguar.
Now, Mick Crocker, he come off a very big council estate. And you'd have thought the Beatles had been there that day. There was people all around his house.
It was a cultural shock for Mick's mum and dad because they never drove. It was all in the Observer.
Mick's first team game was on the 5th of September 1964. He was only 16, and he's still the youngest lad ever to turn out for the club.
Norman Short's last game, Rochdale Hornets, was actually my dad's first. But my earliest memories of him playing was actually in Oldham. It was on a wet and windy Friday night at the Sheddings. It was absolutely freezing. Nothing like what is used to playing under the palm trees on sandy beach of Fiji, that is for sure.
From the time I came home from the Lions tour in 1959, I was being chased by directors, chairmen and scouts from the Rugby League. They would come everywhere, matches, training sessions, even to my own house. And they'd turn up there and pull up, park the cars, and the windows opposite would be flicking through the curtains with people looking, seeing who these posh cars belonged to. It wasn't just the women, it was the men as well.
December the 1st, 1913, the Oldham Football Club committee room. In 1913, the game was just the same, and Oldham were on the lookout for new recruits. And even in them days, they knew exactly where to look first.
We could do with some new free quarters, George. What do we know from scouts?
Harry in South Wales says that there's a couple of good lads at Neath. George Evans, good centre. And a lad called Tommy Jones, a winger. Not the biggest, but can run like that bloody wing. And he's just been picked for a Welsh trial.
Ah, sounds good to me. Have Harry made the usual offer?
That I will.
Come on, Kate, what's up?
Just the usual. League. It's all they talk about in our house.
Nothing new around here then. It's in the blood and you know it. Especially in a house full of boys. Anyway, why so worried?
It's our Sam, he's not going to play us on Rochdale Hornets.
That's brilliant. I knew he loved it, but is he good enough?
Seems so. I'll just be worried to death about him getting injured is all. He's too small and fragile for my liking, and some of those props look like a brick out-toaster and they're about 15 stone.
Yeah, but not all. Sam can play number 7. The scrums half are always the smallest on the team. And your Sam's smarter than most. He'll think as much with his head as with his body.
They're always stretching someone off with injury in those matches.
Not always with serious injuries though, right?
Oh, I don't know, some of those tackles are pure evil, Jenny. Never seen so much violence and aggression in your life. You seem to bloody thrive on it.
And then Pricey came along, and to play with Malcolm Price in the same combination was absolutely fantastic. You play your rugby and you learn from these people. It takes your memories back for your whole career, and people look at you with a great respect because you've been part of a combination that includes Malcolm Price.
Eventually, Tommy Rees, Emlyn Watkins and Harry Goodwin came down and I signed for Oldham in 1962.
This one particular training night, we were running around the pitch and then suddenly our chairman, Jack Rainrod, come shouting me across the pitch.
Johnny! Johnny Gooley!
Yes, Jack, mate, what is it?
Johnny Gooley!
Yes, Jack.
Johnny Gooley!
What, Jack?
Shift your bloody car!
Sod off, Jack.
You can't tell me to sod off.
Why the hell not?
Because I'm bloody German. Did you hear what you just said to me? I'm bloody German. What a bloody Rolls Royce. Bloody local businessman.
My mother used to have a coffee bar on Rochdale railway station.
Yes, love, what did I get you? Tea and a bacon sandwich coming right up.
I used to have an off licence in Salford, and my mother used to buy a meat in Rochdale.
Hang on a minute, Tony. I'm getting my meat off Rochdale Market. It's costing me a fortune.
Well, what we'll do then, we'll use my distributor.
Shift this bloody car.
Soon all the lads were lining up. Right, lads, who wants what?
I'll have £4 of bacon and we'll have the Simon sausage.
I want someone to say for me, please.
It's in my spot. My bloody spot.
£2 of lamb chops.
What about sheep's brains?
It's sausage and bloody bacon, all right. Anyway, this particular night, there was no handy car parking spaces, and Rochdale Hornets wasn't in the most salubrious part of town. It was in an area next to Tin Town. And basically, all the kids used to be hanging about. They used to come over the wall and hang about, and I weren't leaving my car there.
Hey, Mr. 10 bob bloody car.
What it was, I had over £1,000 worth of stuff in the car, and it was hammered with sausage and bacon. And I thought, well, I'm not letting all these sons hang around in this area, and so I parked it in the chairman's spot.
It's in my bloody spot.
Jack, I'm in the middle of training. I'll be able to sort it out shortly, but I'm not moving it. I'm keeping it in my eyesight. So.
Why not?
Because basically the car's hammered with bacon and sausage. I've got that much bacon and sausage, and then what I'm going to be doing, I'm taking it straight into the changing rooms and into the bar with the gammon steaks, the gammon joints, the sausage, the ham shanks, the lean bacon, the streaky bacon, the thick cut bacon, the boxes of eggs, even the trays of eggs.
Hey, why didn't you say so, man? Haven't you telling it for I've done the two myself. Oh, I'm sorry, I changed it up.
No problem, Jack. Sorry I told you to sod off.
It's not all that bad, Kate. It's just the testosterone. Young men always have it with the tongue. But, you know.
He'll be fine though. I can feel it in my waters. He's determined that time. When he gets his sights on something, he always gets it.
Give over, Kate. I know he's your youngest, but you have to let him go. You have to let him find his own way in life.
Oh, I know, but I just can't get all those scrums and tackles out of my head. It's like a bloody nightmare.
Now, the Welsh team to play Ireland at Cardiff Arms Park on Saturday. At full-back,
The Welsh team was always picked on a Tuesday prior to the following week's game. I had 2 shillings in my pocket. I was ready to sign the largest cheque ever paid to a rugby union player to turn professional at that time. It was wonderful that day. I'll never forget it.
inside centre.
Hey, Malcolm, they're going to announce you. Hey.
Inside centre.
Yes, we bloody heard you.
Okay, keep your hair on. What's the matter with you? Inside centre. Malcolm Price.
Hey!
Now get in there See those directors and I want another £500 on that cheque.
No problem, LPP. Usual terms and conditions applied, or 10%.
I was playing for a team in Birmingham called Birmingham City Officials. There was a chap there called Harold Acton, originally from Rochdale. He was playing in the veterans down there. And he come up to me and he said, "Never mind rugby union, you. He says you should be playing rugby league." I said, "What's rugby league?" He said, "It's a different version of the game they play up north. Do you fancy going up for a trial?" Anyway, I did. And I played in a seven-a-side tournament at Lee Rugby Club. Suited me, because I love sprinting. Following Wednesday, Rochdale and Oldham's directors come down. They give me a cheque for £1,000, which in them days you could buy a house for. And there I was, Rochdale Hornets, rugby league player.
My first memories are from the very early 1960s. I'd be about 6 years old, and I used to go to the match at weekend with my father and my uncles. There was a lot less going on then. Well, the match at weekend, it was the focal point, and the club was important to the whole community of the town.
I dream of some of the injuries he might get to his knees, his hamstrings, his ankles. He could be injured for that, Kate. He could be killed.
You're exaggerating. Players don't get killed in rugby league.
Wrong, Jen, wrong. Stanley Baldwin did, 3rd of October 1940, playing for Rochdale against Oldham at the time.
Well, that was unfortunate, but players don't usually get killed in rugby league.
Maybe not, but he's not going to go unscathed, is he? Jesus, all the scrums and tackles, it drives me mad.
I don't suppose Sam would be too happy about it, but he might get lucky and be 18th man on the bench. I mean,
it's not a joke, Kate. The worry is driving me absolutely crazy.
Young men always have it rough and tough. They fight over a fling, it's all part of proving the manhood. And a rugby hooker is better than a real one, and at least he gets medical attention on the field.
I suppose you think that's funny. Some friend you are.
Just think of how proud of him when he's a superstar.
If the worry don't kill me first.
One of the reasons my dad came out of the British Army in 1965 is because he'd heard of 2 Fijians who were playing for Hornets at the time. We were Issa Hawaii and the legend Joe Lavula. Joe was that big and strong he could kick goals in his bare feet. There were other famous Fijians who played for Hornets in the 60s. There were Elijah Avuvu, Happy Saitoga. He actually went to play rugby in Australia for St George's. Bawati Drui, and my favourite uncle of all time, John Tammy Kakuna. Without a doubt, these guys changed how rugby league was played.
17, going into the big wide world of rugby league. I played my first match on the 22nd of August, 1964. 2 or 3 matches after that, I come across a winger called Billy Boston. Billy Boston, when I remember the words, I'll repeat them. A 17-year-old against Billy Boston was just like a minute against a double-decker bus. I do remember him coming past me, or rather over me. 17, so my dad said to the club, "Can he travel up till he's 18? So the club said, "Yeah, no problem. Can he do all his training down there?" So I said, "Yeah. I'll go back to the old rugby union club, train down there, and go back to the Harriers, carry on sprinting down there. Yeah, I'll do all my training." First reception I got was at the Harriers. Goes down to the club, into the dressing room, gets changed, out onto the track. And my old trainer, Phil Cox, is stood there, and he says to me,
I believe you've turned professional now.
"Yes, I have, Phil."
Well, I'm sorry we can't train with you.
And he took all the other athletes to the other side of the track. is that I...
You finished training?
I finished, my apologies. I finished the training, on my own obviously, but it was a bit of a smack in the face for the 17-year-old.
My dad, Mike, he made his home debut for Hornets against New Zealand. They were actually a touring side playing different teams from around the country. He's even got a picture in his scrapbook of him scoring a try. He always shows me that every Thursday night. But anyway, after the game, all the players went into town to celebrate, and that's the first time my dad met my mum.
It wasn't at the match that she met him. It was at the game they had afterwards. Her and a friend thought they'd go, so they did.
Hello. What's your name?
And what's yours?
Mike. Or Mick. Whichever you prefer.
I prefer Mick. You meet loads of Mikes, but I've only ever met one Mick.
Yeah. You aren't just going out and mixing a rugby player, are you?
You aren't just going out with me because I'm a swimmer, are you?
I didn't know you could swim.
I didn't know you could play rugby. Anne met Mika 52 years ago when he was playing for Hornets, so now she's a Hornets fan.
Prior to me getting really interested, back in the 1950s, Oldham were one of the top teams. And it seems that from the moment I started watching them, they went into decline. I'd like to think that that was a coincidence. But the town was proud there. And some people still say that the top side of town, through where Monks Bridge used to be, that's the rugby side. And the other side of town is the soccer side.
They all said, did you have an agent? I said, no, my dad was my agent. Because in those days, you got your signing on fee keyed into how many first team games you played. And if you was one short of your 10 first team games, you had to chase that one game to get your £100. Well, my dad worked in the centre of Rochdale at Nutall's, and the Hornets secretary, Fred Kershaw, lived back to back. And they still owed me £100.
My father worked in cotton mill all his life, and my uncles worked at Platt's Engineering. And Platt's used to make the machines for the cotton mills. Back then, the cotton and the engineering probably accounted for 70% of the employment in the whole town.
I enjoyed the contact. I remember one training night, very frosty winter's night, when we were doing our 5-mile warm-up, that Mick, come on, Tony. Johnny Hammond and Norman Belsford was hidden under the straw, which was protecting the pitch from the frost, while we were doing our 5-mile. After we'd done our 5-mile, they decided to come out and they were laughing the caps off.
My dad used to go around every lunchtime, round to Fred Kershaw's house and knock on his door for weeks until my dad, my agent, came away with a cheque for £100 and I got my contract for £400. Due to my dad, my agent, going and collecting it from Fred Kershaw's house.
It's come again. Sorry. Oh, damn. There you go. Come on, Tony.
Piggyback to Monroe End.
Oh, I guess, sorry. Right, this particular night, what we used to do, our health training was done at the Menlo Road end of the pitch, and we used to do shot and runs, piggyback and fireman's lift up and down around the scoreboard. This was after our 5-mile warm-up. Then what we used to do then, we'd go on the railway stand side of the track, and then we'd be doing 100 metres and 100 yards and 200 yards in those days, spins, and it was a great time at Rochdale Hornets.
My dad was the old-fashioned prop forward, ginger hair, played for Oldham, played in the 30s, the 40s and the 50s. Used to get sent off every other week. But in between his rugby career, he managed to do a D-Day landing as well. My dad was a fantastic man.
Hello, Rochdale, 45695.
Tony Pratt, is that you, son?
Yes, it is. Who's this?
Fred Kershaw, Club Secretary, Rochdale Hornets.
Oh, yeah, Fred, you okay, man?
Aye. How's plans for wedding going, Tony?
Excellent, Fred. All sorted, virtually.
Good, smashing. Lovely. Can you call it off?
Have you gone completely mad, Fred? Future wife, future mother-in-law, father-in-law. I really do think there'd be a bit of a reaction, don't you?
Aye, I'm with you, son. I understand. Yeah. What time are you getting married, Tony?
3 o'clock.
Can you bring it forward 3 hours?
Well, Fred, it's an awkward one, that. I'm sorry, mate. It really is awkward.
Right.
Fred, I don't know, mate, honestly. Well, go on then. I will do. But you have to contact future wife. She'll have to make that decision.
Leave it with me, son.
This one night we had a friendly game, and I remember it being a very, very muddy pitch, and also that it was one of the first times that I put a Hornets shirt on. So I was a substitute, and I came on late in the game. And then the next thing I did, I dived on this loose ball in all the mud, only to get kicked in the back, the shoulder, and in the top of the head. And then at the end, in the talk after the game, I remember the coach, Derek Schofield at the time, saying what he'd seen that night, the bravest thing was this young lad diving on this loose ball. And what I was thinking, well, I've done something right at least, and like, because ball security is paramount.
One game that stands out in my mind was Oldham versus Rochdale. I was playing fullback, and after kick-off at resumption of play, the ball landed right in my arms, and I set off towards the opposition. And I was handing them off here, handing them off there, sidestepping like a good one. You never lose it. And I was soon in the clear and heading towards the sticks. And as I went over the line, I was waving the ball in triumph over my head when I got tackled from behind. I just managed to get the ball down, scored a try, and the next thing is I'm being yanked to my feet by our captain, Henry Deleuze, who gave me the biggest rollicking I've had to date. You score the try before you celebrate. From hero to villain in just a few seconds, eh? Rugby league's a very serious game.
He came from the valleys. It was a time of strife. He bought the northern ticket to seek out a better life. Though there were dissenters that doubts and disappeared, he viewed the situation and his conscience put him in the clear. And it's Tommy for the line. Across the ground he fired, thrilling the onlookers, he'll give it his best try. Rounding the defences as the crowd begins to roar. It's Tommy for the line.
December the 5th, 1913, the Jones household, Treorchy.
My mind's made up. I'm going.
You can't, Tommy, you can't go north now. You're on the verge of the Welsh team.
I'm on the verge. I'm not in. I'm 26 years old. If I don't go now, I'll never go, and I'll be left wondering. And is Oldham one of the best in the Northern Union?
Your name will be more dear.
Sorry, Dad. My mind's made up. I'm not the first, and it won't be the last. In fact, George Evans is signing too.
Well, it seems you're determined, but you better be careful. Gotta watch them northerners.
Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. And I'll be earning a bit, so I'll send some back for you and Mum.
And so Tommy Jones headed north to the bright lights of Oldham.
Hello, Rochdale 46793.
Is that Phil? The future Mrs. Pratt to be?
Yes, it is. Who's this?
It's Fred Kershaw, Club Secretary, Rochdale and Oldham. What your Tony plays, you know.
Oh, I know Mr. Kershaw. I'm sorry Tony can't play for you Saturday. We're getting married.
Aye, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Can you bring it forward 3 hours?
Can we Ella's like?
Have art, love, it's challenge cup. Actually, she quite willingly said yes. So the club, they got hold of all the guests in Birmingham. They came off early, and we got married at 11 o'clock. Then she stood there, and I'm waving to her. I'm getting on the coach to Wakefield. We had a great day at Wakefield. We drew 10 apiece. I scored the second try that gave us the draw. At the ground, they announced that we'd just got married. But they also announced where the reception were, at the Spread Eagle in Rochdale. What made it a little bit worse for my wife, because we'd drawn at Wakefield, we had to come back off honeymoon on the Wednesday for the replay at Rochdale. We had a great day. We'd both do it all again for that day. An absolute cracking day, all round.
The shed-ins, as Oldham as cotton and rain and shotgun weddings.
By the end, you could see through the floor of it. Some modern safety standards meant it had to go.
Getting changed in the old beautiful cricket pavilion.
100-yard walk through the crowd to the pitch. 100-yard back, and if you didn't play well, they'd bloody well tell me.
The famous Flanagans of Oldham. Dad Bill played in the 1940s and 50s. Son Kevin played in the 1960s and 70s. Other son Terry played in the 1980s. Cousin Neil in the 90s. Now Mark Flanagan plays for Salford. Bill used to take Kevin to training.
What in the world are you doing now?
What does it look like I'm doing? I'm getting rid of the grey caused by godforsaken life and friends that I have.
You always weren't they?
At least I make an effort.
Hey, at least you have jobs and husbands who are working. It could be a whole lot worse, you know.
You must be on a high today, because these saintly husbands you're currently referring to are spending all they earn in the fogs, as usual.
We're just celebrating tonight. Sam got signed to stop Eddie Wood.
That's alright, then we mustn't have to worry about buying food or paying bills or anything, must we?
You got any back time to spare?
For you? On your ginger hair? Are you joking? It'll go green or something?
I'm not a ginger, as you put it. I'm a redhead, with my first share of grey. Anyway, I thought you might go join lads down the pub if you fancy. Just at one though, got work tomorrow.
I knew it, you are celebrating.
No, but there's nothing I can do about it now, is there? It might stop me brooding as you're fond of telling me.
About time too. Alright, suits me. Let me just get on my work clothes.
I'll just go as is. It's not like there's no surprise and think it's at Midland now, is it?
The pub crawl, they've probably gone to Roughyeds.
Billy Loves, what a pub.
So we'll see Jeans get up and sing traditional songs.
Our October in 27 pubs in half a mile.
Or Oldham Rugby Club. Cyril Farnworth, Cyril Rocky Farnworth and the Rockefellers.
Dad! 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 It's Oldham Rugby. They've come to sign me.
Oh, do they now?
Look, don't let them get away, yeah?
So you come to sign our Kevin, haven't you?
Aye, Bill.
Oh, I'm not so sure.
I bloody am.
You'll have to be quick, I've got Warrington and Salford coming tomorrow.
We haven't.
Signed for any event.
Well, it depends who makes best offer.
Well, Depends what you call best offer.
That's not for me to say. You hang on here a minute. I'll go and ask him.
Dad, you don't have Salford at Warrington coming tomorrow?
Yeah, but he don't know that, does he? There's one thing I know, it's how to deal with directors. Got me sweating in there, wondering if you're going to sign or not.
Ah, I see what you're doing, Dad.
The Sheddings, match day at the Sheddings.
It was a monster of a stadium, says Terry Flanagan. And he should know.
It had soul. It was very close-knit with the fans. It was home, you see. Now we're a bit like a travelling theatre company. We've got no base. It's not the same. Sheddings were top side of Oldham, and a lot of the fans lived that way, but on match day, everybody went.
The Sheddings were everything to us. They were part of us, and we were part of them.
But by the end, you could see through the floor a bit, so it had to go.
Yeah then, Bill. We really want you to get his play for us. So give me £500 signing on fee.
And he's had to think about it. And he really wants to play for his hometown club. But Warrington's offered him £1,000 to sign.
No, they bloody haven't. Oh, well, Bill, we can't match that.
What can I say?
Here. If he plays 12 games at first team, we'll give him another 250.
Make it 6 games for the first team for the extra 250, and we've got a deal.
500 quid! You could get a new Mini with that, and an extra 250 on top.
It's not as good as what Warrington's offering, but we'll take it.
Oh, it was more than I ever dreamt of.
Kevin Flanagan signed for Oldham in 1964 for £500. Played a few more than the 6 games in the first team before he went over to play for Hornets. Terry Flanagan signed for Oldham in 1977 for £5,000. Captain of his hometown club at 19. Both deals negotiated by the same agent, the dad, Bill.
The Flanagans of Oldham, as Oldham as the Sheddings, it's definitely in the blood.
Still in here then? Sounds like a rugby league match already.
No. You getting them in?
No one else is going to do it.
Why? Send well, all big games room, don't they? Should we stay out here where it's a bit quiet like?
They won't want us all at us.
Hi.
What a racket! They must all be deaf.
Smoke's thicker than a winter's smog as well.
Don't know how they have anything left to tip up on after they smoke, drink, buy tickets for the matches, celebrate and drown the sorrows every week.
I know. And I've been a struggle raising 3 kids while them lot have been in here all the time.
Don't know how you've done it. 3 kids before you were 20.
And serious injury at Hornets. When you came off, the first thing they do was slap a sponge in your face with cold water on. Then they'd hold up 2 fingers or 3 fingers, and if you identified those, you're back on field. 15 minutes later, I'm off. An hour later, I'm on my way to hospital, and 2 or 3 hours later, I'm having surgery. While recuperating in the hospital, I remember the doctor saying to the nurse, "It's so sad, you know, you'll never play again." And I thought, he must be speaking about me. I must start doing something about it. And I started training from that very moment, in my house, everywhere I could, just to prove people wrong.
Cheers, Bob.
Cheers, Stan, mate. Oh, God, I'm ready for this. Jen's driving me stark, stirring mad at the moment. Never happy women, are they? Always want more. Every week I tip up my first share of the housekeeping, just like you do. But it's never enough. How does she expect me to manage? After I bought me papers, me cigs, a few pints, now the boys are up her hand, she's hardly got anything to do. Hey, can you believe the other night, when I came home from work in engineering all bloody day, you know what she asked me to do?
clean the breakfast things. That she hadn't bothered to bloody do before she left for work. And I had to take the rubbish out before I could meet you. I tell you, what's this world bloody coming to?
I can do better than that. You never guess what our Kate wants me to do now. After I've been working day in, day out like I do. Decorate.
Oh.
Bloody decorate, I ask you. When am I going to find time to decorate? I'm never in the bloody house as it is.
Women for yourself. Completely unreasonable.
Hey, you never guess what they're plotting to do now, Jenny Kate.
Oh, go on, nothing will surprise me.
They want to go to Blackpool in Wakes to see how we're selling.
Oh.
I said no bloody chance. No chance at all, it's too expensive.
Stan, we're going to have to stop this now, otherwise they'll expect to be going away every week.
I eventually came back and played for Oldham at Cheddins against Dewsbury. In that team that day was Tug Wilson, an old mate of mine, played in the services together, Charlie Bott, Glenn Drop Goal McIntyre, and of course at the back was Frankie Dyson. What a game that was. I remember it as well for the medical staff who treated me almost all that time in hospital were present at the match. Even the doctor who said, "It's so sad, nurse, he'll never play again." That was a wonderful occasion. From Oldham I went to Hornets. And another great bunch of lads. In fact, so good that they helped me get selected for Great Britain Rugby League against Australia at Headingley and Swinton. We won at Headingley, we lost at Swinton.
One particular night we was at an away game and one smaller forward decided to hit me. And my philosophy was that the bigger they were, the harder they fought, and the small ones weren't allowed to hit you. So what I did, I stood up and then I trampled all over him. And then in the fracas, when it kicked off, I got half of my face, it was all caved in. And obviously straight away then I was taken off and substituted. And they put me in a car and I'm going past these different hospitals, 3 different hospitals I remember. And I'm thinking, where were they taking me? And suddenly I ended up in Withington. And I remember the nurse saying,
Doctor, I can't find a pulse.
Some sort of sportsman, isn't he? Yes, it's there. It's quite thin, but it's there.
and I says to the doctor, well, I'm awake and I'm breathing, so I must have one.
September the 28th, 1914, the Recruitment Centre, Oldham.
Now lads, you all know me. I'm proud to be the doctor for Oldham Football Club. We're also proud to be the recruiting officer for the 2nd 10th Battalion, the Manchester Regiment. The Oldham Battalion. And we all know you're good for a scrap on the rugby field. What about the battlefield? What about these Germans? Get away with it. Of course we're not. I weren't signing up for a real scrap. What about you, Jones? Fancy a crack at the fun?
No fear, Dr. Patterson. We'll show him.
Hear that? No fear, that's the spirit. Tommy must be 10 stone wet through. So if he can do it.
October the 12th, 1916. Oldham Football Club Committee Room.
Well, unless you hear from Tommy Jones.
The Welsh wicket.
Aye. He must be over his banner there. He says,
We haven't had a hard time of it, but the Welsh boys are not downhearted yet. Not likely. They will face danger gladly. For all the months I've been out here, I've seen some, I can tell you. To try and tell all, I couldn't. Terrible, most awful, no tongue can tell. Talk about flat shot. The air was simply hot with iron and steel, all bursting all around us. Tommy.
Oh, I hope they make it out all right. We've already lost Danny Shannon and young Scott from Kelly's Head.
Aye. Remember John Boyden from pre-union days? He went fighting with Grenadiers at Wipers. To a 49-year-old John, not just the young lads.
How many more?
Joined up with his teammates when the country made the call. The red and white jerseys, now army uniforms. Come the day of reckoning, he hid away his spear, and charged out with the others when the sergeant put him in the clear.
September the 20th, 1917. The British trenches in Passchendaele.
Bombing goes tonight, Sergeant. Pick your best and fastest. Corporal Jones. Feared nothing. Wings of Oldham can run like the bloody wind. Right you are, Sergeant. Give him hell.
October the 24th, 1917. The Oldham Football Club Committee Room.
Got a letter here from George Evans.
No.
John Jones.
Poor lad.
Aye. He says he couldn't wait to pull on the famous red and white jersey. I'm going to miss that lad. I've been with him all through my footballing career. Only a couple of weeks before his death, he sent me a note saying he's sorry he couldn't get leave at the same time as me. He said, cheerio, old pal. When this rotten war's over, there's better days to come.
How many more?
When the charge was over, poor Tommy ran no more. Another life extinguished on a hostile foreign shore. No more to scorch the touchline, then turning for the posts, or take an interception, drifting like a ghost. There's a column in the paper, Blackwater and regret, for one more fallen hero, lest we all forget it was Tommy for the line. Across the ground we fly, drilling the young hookers, he'll give it his best try. Rounding the defences, as the crowd begins to roar, it's Tommy, Tommy for the line.
I've gone back to my old rugby union club to do a bit of training down there. I get halfway through the door and this voice bellows out across the room.
Excuse me, you can get out the door.
Pardon? I've been here years. I came here from school.
Yeah, but you've turned professional now for Rochdale Hornets. Now go on, out the door.
The rugby club really hurt me that day. I mean, really hurt me. I've been at the rugby club since I was 15, and I've been at the Harriers since I was 11-year-old. I did go back to the Harriers, but only 5 or 6 years later, just to have a look at the ground. I never went back to the rugby club. Never.
Oh, thanks, Jen. Who thought it after all these years, eh?
Don't think I would have been able to survive without you over the years.
Oh, definitely not. You've been closer to me than family ever since primary school.
Rugby ruled our whole lives, didn't it? Still does to this day.
Oh, no. Remember how distraught I was when our Sam got signed for Hornets?
It all turned out well in the end, though. A good player in his day was your Sam.
Oh, I know. We're having kittens every time he got injured, though. Definitely in the blood, he was good. I'm much happier now that he's managing and relegated to the sideline, so to speak.
Do you remember Appy Saitogo?
Oh, how could I forget him? That'll be about 1965, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Him and his brother Inasai used to play. He used to sing and play guitar in an evening at the pub.
When our day for Carton He were only an apprentice like, so him and his mates went out on the weekends demolishing, you know, earn a bit extra, trig to write and that. What a boy will do for love. Anyway, he used to say that Mad Mountain Toga used to go with him, yeah, to earn a bit of money, to buy sticks to build himself up. I know, absolute madness. But the club soon put an end to it though. It was absolutely terrified that he'd get injured. They weren't half friendly them lads from Fiji, weren't they?
Besides Toga, he signed for Hornets in 1964. He terrorised the English game with his power and pace. He was literally like a battering ram.
And his reputation spread as far as the all-conquering St George's Club in Sydney. And for a huge £2,000 signing-on fee, in 1968, he was the first Fijian to play in the NRL competition.
But at the beginning of 1973, Apisai contracted tetanus poisoning. He'd been diving in Fiji and he caught his foot on some coral and he got infected. And anyway, on the 27th of January 1973, in pre-season training for St George's, and he collapsed. He got rushed to hospital and sadly later that day, he passed away.
He was voted into the Hornets all-time 13, and he was described by his fellow players as a
great player and a gentleman.
A true rugby league hero.
A truly international class player.
16 and a half stone as I remember. One of the best forwards we've ever had. You know, I didn't think we'd stay with Stan and Bob after all this time. Thought I would have given them a red card a long time ago.
Maybe better the devil, you know. Anyway, they're mellowed out over the years, to say the least. Creaking a little bit, gasping from alt fags, and not to mention stomach ulcers from drink. A bit less enthusiastic to go out of an evening, especially on winter's nights.
But at least we get a bit of brass. The £43 marriage pension isn't a lot, but at least it comes in every week and doesn't fritter away.
And our Sam's a good one as well. He drops us a bit every now and then. Hey, they are good boys. Who'd have thought it? After all these years, we'd be ladies at lunch.
And hopefully for many more. Come on, we better get going or else we'll miss kick-off.
At the ripe old age of 30, I decided to retire. I gained every honour in the game, apart from one. It was a good time, because now I could go back down to Wales where I was always respected, always accepted, and always had good treatment from the Welsh Rugby Union. I still received my allocation of complimentary tickets for all the games at Cardiff, and I still do today. One last memory, and it'll stay with me forever. On the entrance to the stadium in Cardiff, they listed all the players who had represented Wales from year dot, with their names and their heritage number. I was very proud of that, and so were my family.
Playing rugby league gives you many, many friendships, some from all over the world. You respect them because they're the same as you. I've played with and against some international superstars, and for that I'll always be thankful for them. As for Rochdale Hornets, well, it certainly put Fiji on the map, and I'm very proud to say that the Ratu family has been part of this history.
Always had a lot of good crack with the lads. I remember what Mick did, his football skills, when he used to do with the rugby ball. I mean, he'd just make it dance and sing. It was absolutely superb. Tony Pratt flying down the wing. I remember Norman Brailsford catching the ball off a kick-off. Going the full length of the pitch to score a try. He was sidestepping one way, 4 men, 5 men, and then put the ball down. Absolutely cracking time at Rochdale Hornets.
My time at Hornets were good times. a bit brief, but I remember the playing in the cup competitions, like the jump player number 6 and the Challenge Cup. These games had a sharper edge to them than league matches, as it was a straight knockout. You lose, you're out. And unfortunately, due to work commitments, in the 1973-74 season, I had to stop playing rugby at Rochdale Hornets.
I've had a good life out of Rochdale, down to many people and several companies. One being Thomas Robinson's, who let me finish serving my time there as a toolmaker when I signed for Rochdale Hornets. I've also met a lot of characters in the 53 years I've been up here. None less than the late Peter Birchall, who was the founder member of our Ex-Players Association. And the late Brian Kettleton, who believed in living life to the full. And he did. I've thoroughly enjoyed it all, even Tony Gooley. Thank you, Rochdale. Thank you, Rochdale Hornets. Thank you, Rugby League, for all the memories.
We've still got friends left after 52 years. We meet up every now and then, and we have a good natter and a good reminisce. Nobody's ever knocked on. Nobody's ever given a forward pass. We've all had a fantastic life, and it's all down to this wonderful rugby league and this rugby league family.
They say the game is changing. Wires, players, balls. Coward youths, bulldogs now. Northern players, balls. But we've still got Saints and Lions, Hornets and Roughyeds. It's rugby league, the greatest game, so let no more be said. It was the Northern Union that broke away. Though we said it wouldn't last, we're still here today. Calling the greatest game, it's understood. And we're proud to be part of it, with rugby in the blood. And we're proud to be part of it, with rugby in the blood.
It's been a pleasure to play rugby league.
It's been an honour to represent the towns and the clubs.
And we'd all happily do it all again. Rather be on the pitch, anything.
Paul mentioned and Tony Gooley. Feel free to stick around, have a chat to the guys if you want to. Do fill in your forms as well, and thanks again for coming. Thanks very much indeed.